Hey Rich, just a couple reminders for this week. I think I will talk just a little bit about the weave from promenade and waltz just to remind you. And then we'll talk a little bit about the hover cross in Foxtrot. Another theme we've been looking at is places where you have the body overturning the feet and places where you have the opposite, where you have a pointing alignment with the body underturned of the feet. And the more examples we find of that, I think the more sense it's going to make to you. So I did a reminder about your swing and direction in the weave from promenade and the waltz, and we did do a video a couple weeks ago about that. Then one of the exercises I had you do this week was to just lift your heels slightly off the floor and allow your feet to turn. Now, of course, if your feet turn, that means the legs are turning. And if the legs are turning, the pelvis is turning also. So maybe you want to think of turning your lower half, right, of turning underneath the shelf, or turning underneath the armpits. Right, so in this case, my body is turning less than my feet. So where is that applicable? When we're dancing the weave from promenade, and we need to accomplish that little bit of an eighth of a turn between 3 and 4. The reason we need to turn the feet and not the body, or to keep the body from turning less, is because we want to invite the lady to step outside partner for the outside change. And anytime I'm inviting my lady to be outside partner, I need my center to stay with her. So if I was producing this here, my body would be overturning my feet. But in this case, my feet are turning and my body needs to be maintained toward the lady. Now, that's very difficult to manage that, especially if you do the initial swing correctly. So try to do it very small here in this space. This is step 1 of the weave. Okay, step 1 is in promenade on the right foot. So the direction of my swing needs to continue diagonal center. So the point I made a few weeks ago, as you go from 2 to 3, is to continue your swing in that direction and to continue the swing of the leg in that direction. And the step will become side and then will become side and slightly back as the foot turn is allowed to happen. So again, what is the fault there? The fault is when you end up turning here with this foot hanging behind you. So I'm going to think of swinging forward, but I must initiate a turn. So there's a couple ways you can think of doing that. One is that I'm accelerating my partner past me. She's coming from promenade to move right into my line and then to continue to turn so that I can swing through. If you feel as though you're pulling an elastic band with the left arm, now we've talked about that too, we don't literally want to do that, but it's an energetic feeling. It's an energetic feeling of using this entire structure. So the middle of my back, through my elbow, through my arm, and also the intention of using my head weight or turning my head to the left. We don't want the head turned extremely to the left, but we want a sense of turning some through your face and a little bit of pull through the head. So if I think of throwing the ball, we've talked about that quite a bit. In this case, maybe I could imagine my lady as the ball. I'm throwing the ball from back to front, ahead of me into the future, and looking into the past, if you want to say that. So I have it swing into the future, the weight of the lady moving into the future, but this dynamic feeling of pulling the head weight and the left arm to the left. So that will create both a forward swing through your base and an intention to turn through your upper body. And that's kind of a miracle in the way that we move, that our spine spirals underneath our head into a very nice turn. So just a reminder about that. Pulling there to the left, looking to the left, not looking straight on. A lot of traffic noise today. And also allowing that forward swing of that leg to complete the turn. Now, from here, as you land step 3, as your heel comes to the ground, there's an additional little foot swivel, it's an 1/8 of a swivel. There are other places we do this. When we dance a chasse to the right, using a half turn, which we haven't done yet, but we will, there is that little bit of a turn, right, that happens at the very end. But if you allow that big swing and rotation to continue through your body as well as your feet, if I allow all this to turn, now I'm jostled as I move back and I'm now square, so there's no indication here for the lady to move outside partner. So I have this sense of my head and arms leading my turn. There's that foot swivel that happens. I'm backing the line of dance. Now, from here, it's my lower half. I'm saying my feet, but it's really underneath the rib cage, overturning the body so that I can maintain my center towards the lady. I'll go back again. I think I did cover this in our last video on the weave from promenade. But if I looked at the lady, hopefully you can see in here, there's count 1. Count 2, she swings forward, and she ends up in front of you on a moving track. And then she has all this turn to do in between. So she ends up with the pointing alignment. So she has a case also where her foot is in the final position and her body turns less. Now her body will turn a little bit more, but she'll still also be centered to you to step outside partner. So she has the pointing alignment, which I hope I can inspire in her, and I have the foot swivel. So you may want to go back and look at the video we did on the weave from promenade again, but what we focused on this last time was a reminder about that foot swinging forward between 2 and 3, but also adding now that sense of the feet overturning the body. So you can start your outside change from outside partner. I should say partner outside because she's the one coming outside. So now let's look at the hover cross. Now in the hover cross, you have a foot swivel as you swing around the lady, which you always do when you're on the outside of a turn. Then you'll have a pointing alignment when you're on the inside of a turn, and she'll have a foot swivel. So it's very important to understand how we use those techniques to help us maintain our balance and our ability to work together in turns. So we're not doing the natural opposite in all of these turns. So of course I'm entering the hover cross with a natural turn, which is a lady's heel turn. So I will need to send her into the heel turn, swinging forward again, and I will have foot swivel because I'm on the outside of the turn as she dances her heel turn. I'll do it this way so you can see. As I go through and around her, then I will have a pointing alignment. So now what I've done is I've placed my right foot diagonal to wall, but my body has underturned my feet. Now what was happening here is that your body was going along with your foot, and then this becomes very heavy and hard to get out of. It's hard enough on my own as the man, but having accelerated my lady into that, when her weight moves that way, if I don't have control, it's going to be difficult to get out. So we're going to have a sense here with the pointing alignment of the body again is underturning the feet. From here I have no further foot swivel. I'm just going to sneak my foot through. Now what I was having you practice here again is this sort of energetic feeling of opposition. That feeling. Right, so as my leg moves forward, my arm moves back. Now I'm feeling that, of course, through the scaps. You get your shoulder blades working there. And like we talked about last week, I'm making sure that my hip doesn't go along with that foot. I'm keeping that crease and kicking the ball there. I'm energetically pulling the arm. I'm also, to keep the shape, I'm pulling my head. Now, that looks as though the man's head is still. Unfortunately, if we don't reinforce that pull there, many times the man's head will go along into the figure. So that's part of the illusion. I'm using a lot of internal opposition in my muscular structure to counterbalance things dynamically. You see it as straight. You don't see all the opposition on the outside, but you'll feel it, and you'll feel this sort of X across your body there. I can feel as though the body tissues there are stretched across there. It's important that I keep my head weight out of the picture there. So again, I'm appearing to be straight, but I have a dynamic feeling of lifting my head up or lifting my ears up, pressing the shoulder blades down, getting a bit of a rock there, and then you move to the other side. So this very similar feeling here. I think we've done this exercise before, but we've got the feet turned out because we've got our pointing alignment right there with the right foot. Then the body turns slightly, but we're going to try to resist it. There, that is in CVMP, outside partner on the wrong side. And then I'm sliding across here, going outside partner for the feather on the normal side. But once again, I have to have that sense of holding the hip back. Now, I do also have dynamically the feeling of working my right elbow against the right leg or the right toe. But you need to be careful, maybe take a look at where your arm is and even back here. Because my girl is in front of me. She is in front of me here, and she's in front of me here. So both of these places require your awareness of where you're placing the lady or where your tray is going in order to send her into the proper place. So I'm going to move around the girl. I'm going to have my foot swivel from here. I need to swing her out of the heel turn ahead of me, and then be careful that I don't follow her too much. Put my toe in the water and follow her a little bit, just to cushion her movement and allow her to rock. Dynamically working leftward. Now, I don't want to leave her there. That's another problem for the men. Whoops. From here, I need to advance her ahead of me into the feather. So again, I do feel that energetic lifting of my head. We have a sway there. I have that right elbow pulled away from the foot, but it's still in front of me. Don't want that arm to be in the back. So again, that just this sort of exercise that we've done a few times. When you do that, you don't want to go across here and kick the girl. So you'll bring your knees and your ankles together, place the toe in. Bring your knees and ankles together and place the toe in. Feel the opposition and the opposition. Okay, I think that's the main gist of things. We looked over your 3-step, which was coming along really well. Just a reminder there, when you start, when you go from the body, turn slightly to the right, as in the feather finish or feather ending. So if we're starting from scratch, you can wind it up there. When you begin to unwind it, just be careful you don't bang. Take it so far to the left. If I'm coming from my right wind up, through my thigh, I'm going to blend this so that I'm going to move through the square position into the release of the right side slightly forward. All right, if I think of anything else that I need to talk about, I'll do another video, but I think that's the main gist of what we talked about last Friday.